just take your red yarn and you're going to fold it over on itself to form a loop. I'm still using my 5mm crochet hook. Use your middle finger and thumb to hold the base of the loop. Yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through the loop for a slip knot. Then you're going to make a chain. I'm going to make 4 of them with you, but you're going to make a chain of 45. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Go ahead, finish a chain of 45 and then come back. After you finish your chain of 45, then you're going to hold that last stitch with your middle finger and thumb and make a chain of 3. 1, 2, 3. That's going to count as your first double crochet for the next row. So go ahead and yarn over, go into the 4th chain from the hook, which was the stitch that you were holding, and make your double crochet. Then you're going to make 1 double crochet in every stitch back across. And this is going to be the top rim for the Santa pants. This is what mine looks like after making my double crochets all the way across. Then you're going to fold the work in half to form a ring. Make sure it's not twisted. Then you're going to make a slip stitch into the top stitch of that first chain 3 that we made to join into a circle. So just yarn over and pull the yarn through both loops on the hook. Then you're going to set your work down. Take that loose yarn end on the opposite side, put that onto your tapestry needle, and then you're going to join the bottom stitch of the ring. Then you're just going to tie a knot, and you can leave the loose yarn end for now. Then you can see how you have a perfect ring for the top portion of the pants. Go ahead and have the work face you so that the right side is facing out towards you. Then you're going to make a chain 1, chain 1. Then you're going to make a single crochet into the next stitch over. So go into the next stitch over, bring up a loop, yarn over, go through both loops for a single crochet. Then you're going to make your trinity stitch, just like we did before. Go into the same stitch, bring up a loop, next stitch, bring up a loop, next stitch, bring up a loop, yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through all 4. Then you're going to chain 1 and repeat. So I'm going to make 1 more with you. You're going to keep making your trinity stitches all the way around and then come back. Now I've reached the beginning where I started initially. I'm just going to keep on working my trinity stitches, and you're going to start working in rounds. Don't forget your chain 1s. So then you just keep working in rounds until you've completed 8 rounds of trinity stitches. After you finish the 8 rounds of trinity stitches, then you can go ahead and make a slip stitch into the next stitch over. Just yarn over and pull the yarn through both loops on the hook for a slip stitch. Then you're going to go and fold the work so that you have an equal number of stitches on both sides of the pants. So for mine, I have approximately 22 stitches on each side. So once you find the center on the opposite side, go ahead and put your crochet hook through the top stitch only. Then you can take the yarn and make a slip stitch to join the center. Then you chain 1. Now you have 2 openings for the pant legs. Then you can go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to sew one of the pant legs on. Then you're going to get your tapestry needle. Make sure that you have the front of your pants facing you, the front portion, and the right side is facing you. Then you're going to take and grab both of the legs. We're going to sew the pant legs on now. Then you're going to take the boot. Make sure that the boot is facing forward. You want it facing forward. Then just place it at the opening of the pant legs. Then you're going to take and fold the pant leg down over it so that the wrong side is facing you. The boot is still facing forward. You can bring your tapestry needle up through the opening. And then you can just line it up. Make sure that your boot is facing forward. You're going to line up the pant leg with the upper portion of the pants. As you're sewing, make sure that your boot is still facing forward. You don't want your boot facing the wrong direction on your pants. Then you're just going to take your tapestry needle and you're going to sew the top portion of the pants to the lower portion of the pants. And just sew it all the way around. Then you're going to take your other pant leg and you're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. Now after you've sewn the pant legs on, you can take and open up the pants. This is how my pant legs look after putting them on to the Santa. If you want to extend the upper portion up a little bit more, then you can just join in the back with your crochet hook and make one more row of one double crochet in every stitch, which is what I'm going to do for mine because I want mine to go up a little bit higher. So you can see how I'm joining my red yarn in the back of the Santa pants. Then I can chain 3, and I'm going to make one more row of 1 double crochet in every stitch around. Just to make his pants go up a little bit higher. So 1 double crochet in every stitch around. Then when you reach the beginning, you just make a slip stitch into the top stitch of that first chain 3 that you made. Then you go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to bury into your work. And you can see how far up my pant legs go on the Santa. Now to make the Santa robe, you just take the red yarn, fold it over on itself to form a loop, just like we did before. I'm using my 5mm crochet hook. Hold the base of the loop with your middle finger and thumb. Yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through the loop for a slip knot. You're going to make a chain of 50. I'm just going to show you 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go ahead, make a chain of 50. After you finish your chain of 50, Then you're going to hold that last stitch with your middle finger and your thumb and make a chain of 3. 1, 2, 3. Then you're going to make a double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook. Go ahead and yarn over, go into the 4th chain from the hook, bring up a loop, make your double crochet. Then you're going to make 1 double crochet in every stitch back across. So this is what mine looks like after making a double crochet in every stitch. This is going to form the bottom of the Santa robe. Now we're going to move up to the next row for the design of the robe. So you're going to chain 1, turn your work. You're going to make a single crochet into the same stitch. So go into the base of that chain 1 that you made, bring up a loop, make your single crochet. Then you're going to go into the same stitch, bring up a loop, 2 loops on the hook, go into the next stitch, bring up a loop, next stitch, bring up a loop, yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through all 4, then chain 1 and repeat. So go into the same stitch that you just finished, bring up a loop, next stitch, bring up a loop, next stitch, bring up a loop, yarn over, turn the hook upside down, go through all 4, and don't forget your chain 1. And then you're just making these beautiful Trinity stitches all the way across to the other side and then come back. Now I've reached the end and I only have 2 stitches left, so what I'm going to do is I want to make sure that I can finish 1 more Trinity stitch on the end. Normally I would go into, actually I can do it. So I'm going to go into that last stitch where I just finished, my last Trinity stitch, bring up a loop, go into the next stitch and bring up a loop, and then go into the last stitch to bring up my last loop. Then yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through all 4. Now the last stitch is the only one you do a little bit differently. You're not going to chain 1. You're going to go back into the same stitch, bring up a loop, and make a single crochet. So you're always going to end this way on your row. Then you're going to chain 1, turn your work, and you're always going to start the same way too. So you're going to go into that same stitch that you just made your chain 1, you're going to bring up a loop, make a single crochet, and then you're going to make your Trinity stitch. Go into that same stitch you made your single crochet, bring up a loop, go into the next stitch, bring up a loop, next stitch, bring up a loop, then make your Trinity stitch, chain 1, and repeat. Make your Trinity stitch, and you're going to keep doing this until you've completed 15 rows. So 15 rows of the Trinity stitches. You start and end the exact same way every time. After you finish your 15 rows of Trinity stitches, you can see how I have a straight edge on both sides. That's how your work should look. Then you can go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to bury into your work. Now you're going to take Santa's robe and you're going to you're going to need 4 markers. I just used my yarn strands, extra yarn strands. You're going to count in 10 stitches from the right. This is the top portion where you finished off your last row of Trinity stitches. The bottom row is the double crochet, so that's at the bottom. This is the front side up. Count over 10 stitches, place your yarn marker into the 11th stitch, then you're going to go to the opposite side and do the same thing. Count in 10 stitches and put the yarn marker into the 11th stitch. Then counting your yarn marker stitch as 1, you're going to count over to the 7th stitch and place your other yarn marker, so that counting your yarn markers you have 7 total. So 5 in between, and you count the yarn markers. So that's 7 total for the first arm, and then 7 total for the other arm. And then the rest of the stitches will be towards the back of the outfit. Then after you have your yarn markers in place, you're going to start in the right corner again. And you're going to take your crochet hook. I'm still using my 5mm crochet hook. I'm going to go into that corner, bring up a loop with my red yarn, chain 1, and then go ahead and tie a knot. Then you're going to make a single crochet into the same stitch, go behind your loose yarn ends, bring up a loop, make a single crochet. Then you're going to go into the same stitch to make a trinity stitch. Bring up a loop, go into the next stitch over, bring up a loop, next stitch over, bring up a loop, make your trinity stitch, and then you're going to make your trinity stitch into every stitch across until you reach your first yarn marker. So now I've reached the first yarn marker, and I'm 1 stitch short to finish 1 more trinity stitch. So normally I would go into this stitch to finish my last trinity stitch, but now I'm going to go into the stitch before. Bring up a loop, go into the next stitch and bring up a loop, and then the next stitch and bring up a loop. Then I'm going to make my trinity stitch. And for the last stitch, you're not going to chain 1. You're going to go into the same stitch, bring up a loop, make a single crochet, then you're going to chain 1 and turn your work. So we're making one of the front panels. So we're just going to keep working back and forth on this one front panel. So now you're just going to make a single crochet into the same stitch. Then you're going to make your trinity stitch. And you're going to keep repeating this until you've completed the number of rows that you want for one of the front panels. Now I'm going to work this last stitch with you again. I have 2 stitches here actually. It's a little bit tricky getting into this one where I tied. There, got it. Alright then. Now, instead of chaining 1 for the last stitch, I'm going to make a single crochet into that last stitch. Then I'm going to chain 1, turn my work, and now I'm working on my 3rd row on the front panel. And I'm going to make a total of 5 rows. I'm going to make the first stitch with you, go into the same stitch, bring up a loop, make a single crochet, then make your trinity stitch. And you're just going to keep repeating this until you've completed 5 rows. So I just finished my last row, 5 rows on that side panel, so I'm going to go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to bury into your work. Then you're going to take and join. You're going to skip the 1 arm panel, and you're going to go into the stitch right next to the yarn marker. You're going to bring up a loop, and we're going to start on our back panel. So go ahead and tie a knot to join the yarn. Then you're going to work the back panel the exact same way. So I'm going to go into the same stitch, bring up a loop, make a single crochet, and then I'm going to start my trinity stitch. Make sure I don't grab my yarn marker. I'm just grabbing the loose yarn end. And then you're just going to make your trinity stitches all the way to the first yarn marker. So the first yarn marker here where you have the next armhole, and then come back. So this is what my work looks like so far. I'm working on the back panel and I have one stitch left. This one meets up perfectly with the yarn marker. And remember, for your last stitch, you're not going to chain one, you're going to make a single crochet in the same stitch, then you chain one and turn your work. Then you're going to make a single crochet into the same stitch. Then you're going to make your trinity stitch. And you're going to keep repeating the rows until you've completed 5 rows. So it should be level with the one front panel. So you can see my back panel. The edges are straight. I finished 5 rows, and here's the other front panel, and here's the armhole. Now you just need to make the other front panel. So you're going to join right after the yarn marker. Just take the yarn, bring it up just like you did before. I'm going to go ahead and get you started. So I'm going to make a single crochet into the same stitch. Then I'm going to make my trinity stitch. And then don't forget your chain 1. And then make your trinity stitches all the way across. So here you can see I only have 1 stitch left on the end. So normally I would go into this stitch, but since I only have 1 stitch, I'm going to go into the stitch before, bring up a loop, go into the next stitch, bring up a loop, and then the last stitch and bring up a loop. Then I can go ahead and yarn over and draw through all 4. And then remember, the end stitch, you're not going to chain 1, you're going to make a single crochet into the same last stitch. Then you chain 1 and turn your work. And then you just proceed until you have the 5 rows for your last front panel. Now this is how your work should look. You can go ahead and remove all of your yarn markers. This is the bottom where the double crochets are. Then you have all your beautiful trinity stitches, the front panel, here's the other front panel, and then your back panel. Then you're just going to take and bring in the mittens that you made. Now what you're going to do, this is the back of the outfit, so you can fold it over to kind of see how it's going to fit on the Santa Claus. So you can see how you're going to have one arm this way and then this arm this way. And the reason why I point this out is because you want your thumb pointing up. So this is actually the right hand. Even though on video it looks like it's left, this is the right hand, so the thumb is up. This is the left hand, so the thumb is up. So when you sew it on, I'm going to go ahead and take this one away for now, and I'm going to show you with this arm. So you're going to want to hold it on the inside, and then go ahead and turn it and you can see how I have a hold of the arm and the panel like this, and then the thumb is facing up. So you're going to take and put your tapestry needle onto the long end that you left for sewing. And then you're just going to hold the two edges together and then just sew the one edge of the mitten, not both, just one, and then just sew it across the bottom of the armhole and sew the two edges together. Then after you sew the bottom edge together, then you can take and fold that back panel up along the edge and then just sew the one edge. Then you're going to want to go back because you're going to go all the way back and sew the opposite edge in place. So you can see how mine turned out. I have about one stitch left on the top, and then this is what the right side is going to look like. This is the back, and then here is the front. So now you're just going to sew the other arm on the exact same way. Just make sure that you have the wrong side that you're sewing on and not the right side. So here you can see I have the right side facing up. Then I'm just taking and making sure that my thumb is facing up. Then I can take and since this is on the opposite side, I'm going to go ahead, center it, fold up the edge, and then just start sewing along the edge first this time. Then you can see I have the wrong sides on the inside, but when you fold over the front of the robe, the thumbs are pointing up like they should be, and then the sleeves are attached. Now I have the back facing up, the right side is facing towards me. Then I'm going to go into the top portion of the outfit because I'm going to form the neck. So again, the right side is facing me. I'm going to go ahead and join my red yarn, chain one, then go ahead and tie a knot. Then you're going to make a single crochet into the same stitch. Go ahead and go behind any loose yarn ends. Then you're going to go into the same stitch, go behind the loose yarn end, bring up a loop, go into the next stitch, bring up a loop, go into the next stitch and bring up a loop. Then you're going to yarn over and go through all four, but this time you're not going to chain one. Then you're going to go into the same stitch you just finished. Any loose yarn end that you come across, go ahead and crochet around it or behind it. And then you're just going to do that all across the top only. You're going to make your decrease stitch through all four of the loops, but you're not going to chain one. So they're your trinity stitches without the chain one. And what that's going to do is it's going to decrease the number of stitches across the top of the Santa robe, forming a small neck at the top. When you come across your first arm, you're just going to keep crocheting across. Just go into the next stitch that you can. I'm going behind my loose yarn ends. And I'm just kind of spacing my stitches across the top of the arms or the sleeves. And then I'm going behind the loose yarn ends as I come across them. And then this is what it looks like as I cross the arm. Then when you finish your last trinity, you're going to make a single crochet into that last stitch. Then you're going to chain one, turn your work. You're going to make a single crochet into the same stitch, and then you're going to go into the same stitch and start your trinity stitch. But this time you're going to go ahead and chain one. So you're going to make your trinity stitch all the way across the top, except this time you're going to chain one. Now I have one stitch left. So remember, on the last trinity stitch, you're not going to chain one, you're going to single crochet into the same stitch, then you're going to chain one and turn your work. Then you're just going to make one more row the exact same way. Single crochet into the first stitch, make your trinity stitch, and again for this trinity stitch you're going to chain one, and you're going to repeat all the way across the top one last time. So I just finished the last stitch across the top. Now I'm going to go ahead and join with my white yarn because we're going to make the white trim. Go ahead and bring up a loop. You can chain one. Then you can take and cut the previous colored yarn and tie a knot. Then you can go ahead and turn your work. And we're going to head back across the top of the outfit. The first thing you're going to do is just chain two. 1, 2. That's going to count as your first half double crochet for the row. Go ahead and yarn over, go into the next stitch over, go behind your loose yarn ends, bring up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, and go through all 3 loops for a half double crochet. And then you're going to make 1 half double crochet in every stitch. When you reach the end of the top of the robe and you come to your first corner, come back and I'll show you what to do next. So this is what mine looks like across the top, and this is the wrong side facing towards me. Now I'm going to turn and work alongside the front panel. So in that last stitch that you made, you're going to want to put another half double crochet into the same stitch. Then make a half double crochet into the next stitch. And what you're going to do is you'll notice that you have a side stitch here. You're going to work in the gap beneath the side stitch. So yarn over, go into that gap beneath that stitch and make your half double crochet, and then you're going to make 1 more half double crochet in that same gap. And then you're going to evenly space your half double crochets down the side. And that's exactly how you're going to work each corner. And then you're going to half double crochet all the way around the outer part of the robe, all the way back up to where you started at the top, and then come back. Here's a close-up of how I did one of my side panels, so you can see how some of them have 2, and then 1, 2, and then 1. Then once you turn the corner to work along the bottom, I put a couple of stitches into the corner stitch, so 2 on the side, then 2 in the corner, and then it's easy because you have 1/2 double crochet for each stitch across the bottom. Then I reached the beginning stitch. I'm going to make 1 more 1/2 double crochet, and then I'm going to join to the top stitch of that first chain 2 that I made. Then I can finish off, just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to bury into your work, and then you're just going to bury any of your loose yarn ends, and you can see how you have the robe for Santa. So this is what Santa's robe looks like on. I have his arms through, and then we're going to have a belt to help close the front of the Santa outfit. For the belt, you're just going to take your black yarn, fold it over on itself to form a loop, and I'm using my 5mm crochet hook. Go right through the loop, hold the base of the loop with your middle finger and thumb, just yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through that loop for a slip knot. Then you're going to make a chain of 60. I'm just going to show you 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go ahead, finish your chain of 60, and then come back. After you make your chain of 60, go ahead and hold that last chain that you made with your middle finger and thumb, then go ahead and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. That's going to count as your first double crochet for the next row. You're going to make a double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook. So you just yarn over, go into the 4th chain from the hook, bring up a loop, make your double crochet. Then you're going to make 1 double crochet into every stitch back across. So 1 double crochet in every stitch back across. Then when you finish the last double crochet in the last stitch, you're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Then go ahead and turn your work. Take my tapestry needle. Then you're just going to make a double crochet in every stitch back across. So not in the foundation stitch. You're going to go into the next stitch over. So not over here, you're going over here. And you're going to make 1 double crochet in every stitch back across. And this is your last row for the belt. So this is what mine looks like after I finished my 2nd row of 1 double crochet in every stitch. Then I'm going to go ahead and finish off, just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to sew the belt in place. For the belt buckle, I used Lion Brand Yarns Hometown USA. The color was Pittsburgh Yellow. It's a nice thick yarn. It's a super bulky 6, but you can use whatever gold yarn that you have for your belt buckle. Just be aware that if you use this thicker yarn for the belt, it's a little bit more difficult to sew onto your black belt. So you may want to use a thinner gold. I made a chain of 26 with my yellow or gold yarn. If you're not using as thick of a yarn as me, just kind of see how many stitches you would need. It takes about 5 stitches to go across the belt. So you just form your rectangle and you'll figure out how many stitches you need for the size of a belt buckle that you want for your Santa belt. Now, for the robe of the Santa, the first thing I did was take my white yarn and put it onto the tapestry needle. Then you're going to take and just sew. Make sure that you have the neck portion even. And then you're just going to sew the robe together. Just take a stitch, just like me, and just sew together the front of the robe. As far down as that you want your front robe to be touching. For mine, I went down to the top of the pants, and then I even grabbed a little bit of a stitch of the pants, and then finished sewing and tying a knot. Then you can bury your loose yarn ends. Then I took and placed the belt around the Santa. Make sure that you have the front side facing out, the side that you want facing towards you, and then you just kind of lap over the Santa belt and sew it in place. Then I took the gold chain and buried one of the loose yarn ends on the inside. Then you can take the opposite side, the long end that you left for sewing, and put that onto your tapestry needle. Then you're ready to take and sew the belt. So make sure you know where the belt is going to be sewn on first to make sure that it's centered. And then once you have it centered, and placed where you want it, I'm just going to scoot mine over. Then you're going to take the end, place it on there. Again, double check, make sure you have it centered the way you want. Then once you have it centered, you can take your tapestry needle and just go right through and sew it in place. If you're using this thicker yarn, you may want to go from the side and come up the side, and that makes it a little bit easier. It's very thick, so it's better to go one stitch at a time through the bottom and then come back up and work the yarn that way. So I love the look of this belt, but it's very difficult. The only way I was able to do it was to go one at a time and go through behind the belt. As you can see, it's difficult, but I was able to do it and just go in and out that way. And then just kind of twist it and it brings it through. And then I just tied a knot on the inside where no one could see it. And then just buried it into the body of the Santa. It's a really thick yarn. Or maybe I will just let it hang. If you can't get it, just let it hang down there. No one can see it. And then it's buried. And this is what my Santa belt looks like when I'm done. There's a separate video tutorial for the Santa doll hat. The Santa bag and the patch of snow stand are made the same way. You start by taking the yarn and drape it across your 4 fingers. Use your thumb to stabilize, then wrap the yarn around your 2 middle fingers and hold it in place with your pinky and your thumb. I used my 5mm crochet hook. You're going to bring up a loop, yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through the loop for a slip knot. Then you're going to make 6 single crochet into the magic circle. Just like we did for the Santa head and the Santa body. Then you're just going to hold the base of the 6 single crochet with your forefinger and thumb and then just close it up. Then you're going to turn your work and then work into the first stitch. You're going to make 2 single crochet into every stitch around until you have a total of 12. Now you can turn your work over and pull on that loose yarn end if you need to close the center of the magic circle. So now we're going to make increase rounds just like we did before. You're going to stop when you reach 1 single crochet into 4 stitches and then 2 single crochet into the 5th. So for the first increase round, you're going to make 1 single crochet into the first stitch and then 2 single crochet into the second stitch, and then you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. 1 single crochet in the first stitch, 2 single crochet into the second stitch. For the next increase round, 1 single crochet into 2 stitches and then 2 single crochet into the third. Then for the next increase round, 1 single crochet into 3 stitches and then 2 single crochet into the fourth. And then the last increase round will be 1 single crochet into 4 stitches and then 2 single crochet into the 5th stitch. So here's the snow patch, and you can see how I've increased to 1 single crochet into 8 stitches and 2 single crochet into the 9th stitch. And this is the size compared to the one where we increased to 1 single crochet into 4 stitches and then 2 single crochet into the 5th stitch. So you can make your bag as small or as large as you want, and also your snow patch as large as you want. I'm going to go ahead and keep increasing. I'm going to do 1 single crochet into 9 stitches and then 2 single crochet into the 10th. And then the last increase round for my snow patch will be 1 single crochet into 10 stitches and then 2 single crochet into the 11th stitch. And then you're going to need 2 of the snow patches. For the bag, once you have the size that you want for your bag, I'm going to increase to 1 single crochet into 8 stitches and then 2 single crochet into the 9th stitch. And then once you have the size that you want, then you're going to go into the next stitch over and make a slip stitch. Then you're going to make a single crochet into the next stitch. And then you're going to make your trinity stitch. So you just yarn over and then chain 1. And then you're just going to keep making your trinity stitch and working in rounds until you have the size that you want for your Santa bag. But for mine, I'm going to go ahead and increase my Santa bag a little bit larger, but this is how you would make your decoration on your Santa bag once you've made the size that you want for your Santa bag. This is my Santa bag, and I just wanted to show you, this is where I increased to 1 single crochet into 8 stitches and then 2 single crochet into the 9th stitch. Remember, I went in order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then for the rounds of trinity stitches, I made mine 10 rounds deep. So you can make yours as large or as small as you want. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Mine is 10 rounds. So now I'm going to show you how to make the top portion of the bag. After you've slip stitched and joined the round, after you finish the amount of rounds that you wanted, you're going to make a chain of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to count as your first double crochet and your chain 1. Sorry, let me fix my yarn. Then you're going to make a double crochet into the same stitch. So you just yarn over, go into the same stitch, bring up a loop, 3 loops are on your hook, yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through 2 loops. You have 2 loops remaining, yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through the remaining 2. And you just formed a V-stitch. We're going to make a V-stitch all the way around the top of your bag. So then you're going to skip a stitch. So you're going to skip the next stitch. You're going to yarn over, go into the next stitch over, bring up a loop, make your double crochet, chain 1, and then double crochet in the same stitch. And then you're just going to repeat that pattern all the way around. And what you're going to do is make an easy loop to put your tie across the top of your bag. So again, you're going to skip the next stitch and work a V-stitch into the next stitch. I'm going to make one more with you. Yarn over, skip a stitch, go into the next stitch, make your double crochet, chain 1, and then double crochet into the same stitch. Then repeat all the way around back to the beginning and then come back. This is how mine looks so far. You can see the beautiful V's that I made across the top of the bag. Then when you come back to the beginning, you're just going to slip stitch into the 3rd chain. So here's the first one, the middle one, and then the 3rd one, and then this is the chain 1. So you want to go into the 3rd one and then just make your slip stitch. Then you can go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to bury into your work. Now you can go ahead and bury any of your loose yarn ends. For my Santa bag, I used Ribbon Boutique. It's a glittery red ribbon and the size 7/8 of an inch and by 7 yards. Now you're just going to take your ribbon of choice and fold it around the bag. Give yourself enough ribbon to where you can tie a pretty bow across the top. If you want, you can just make a chain with your yarn if you'd rather just have a chain of yarn for the top of your bag. But for mine, I'm placing a ribbon at the top. My ribbon was approximately 35 inches. Then you just take and weave the ribbon through your work. I went around 1 post from behind, and then I want the ribbon to show, so I skipped a couple, about 3 of the V stitches, and then went back down to the inside of the bag, and I repeated that all the way around the top of the bag back to the front. Now I'm back to the front. You can see how I have both ribbon pieces coming out at the same entry point, and this is what it looks like around the bag. Now you're ready to fill your Santa bag with whatever items that you want. Now you can make little boxes if you want, little gift boxes. I've found these cute. These are actually ornaments that you can hang on a Christmas tree. And I found these called Holiday Time. They're only $1.94. So I'm going to use one of these. Also, there's a drum. These are also by Holiday Time. And this is also an ornament. So you can use them as ornaments, and if you're giving this as a gift, the person that you gift it to can use these as ornaments too, which makes it really nice. Then you just decide how to display your Santa bag. So you can have a present sticking up out of it. I also have this cute little Tonka truck ornament that I found by Tonka. I also used one of my little bears. This one has a cute little snowflake, but they're really inexpensive. As you can see, I've already used one of them. These are little mini ornaments that I'm going to use on my Santa bag. This is how my Santa bag looks. The drum is on the bottom. I sat the present on top of the drum. I have my little Tonka truck sticking out and the little bear on top. I found this adorable Christmas sleigh for sale, and this is where my present Santa's bag is going to sit. Now I'm going to show you how I made my Santa stand, the snow stand. For one of them, which I'm going to show on video tutorial, I used my regular white acrylic yarn. I made 2 of them. For these, I actually increased all the way up to 1 single crochet into 12 stitches and then 2 single crochet into the 13th stitch. So of course, as you remember, I went in order: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I stopped on the 1 single crochet into 12 stitches and 2 single crochet into the 13th stitch for the increased rounds for my snow patch for one of them. Then I also made one with my homespun yarn. So this one's a little bit more difficult to work with, which is why I'm going to show how to make the shells around the snow patch with the regular yarn. But this is what it looks like when I used the homespun yarn. I like the pearly, shimmery look that you get with this one. And for this one, I didn't increase to the amount that I did for this one. This one I stopped with 1 single crochet into 9 stitches and then 2 single crochet into the 10th stitch. And then I made 2 of them. For my stand, I used this thick copper wire. I actually got it from the hardware store. Mine is 30 inches in length, and the reason why I like this one is because you can bend it and shape it. So what I did was I shaped 2 of them. This is how I shaped it. So this back part will go up under the outfit of the Santa or Mrs. Santa, and then this part is what will form the stand. You'll want to form it so that it will fit within the snow patch. Here is my other one, and you can see that it has a little bit of a different shape, but as long as it fits inside of the snow patch, that's all that you really need. I also used these little hot pad for your pots and stuff. I used this as a stand, so I used this style, the wire style. The other style that I used, which I'm going to put on top of this snow patch, which I'll show you, is this beautiful coaster. This is also for setting your warm pots on, or you can just use it as decoration. I have a separate video tutorial that shows how I made these hot pad dresses that go with these. So I have plenty of hot pad. So I'm going to use these for my Santa and Mrs. Santa, and also be able to take them out so I can use them during the year and then use them as stands, Christmas stands, during the holidays. So I just want to show you one of the snow patches. This is the one that I made with the pearly homespun yarn. So the shells are around the top of the snow patch, and then here's the bottom of the snow patch. You can see the wide opening that I have. So you can see that my copper wire will easily slide in there. For this snow patch, I'm setting my beautiful designed hot pad tile or pot holder tile on top of this one, and this will hold up one of the either Mrs. Santa Claus or Santa Claus. So this is one design. I'm going to show you my other one. For my Santa Claus, I just wanted to show you, I have a separate video tutorial for the crochet Santa doll hat. This is how mine looks. I decided to go ahead and put pom-poms around the rim, and then I just sewed it in place. And then this is what it looks like on the back. So you can see some of his hair on the back. And then I sewed the Santa doll hat in place. After you have your 2 pieces for the snow patch, go ahead and bury your loose yarn ends on the center of your snow patches. Then you're going to take the 2 snow patches, put the right sides facing out and the wrong sides together, You can take the 2 loose yarn ends and tie a knot. Then after you tie your knot on the one side, go ahead and go over to however wide you want your opening. So mine is a little bit more than half for the opening. And then I just placed a yarn marker there so I'll know where I need to leave the opening. Then you're just going to take your crochet hook, I'm using my 5mm crochet hook, and just go right where you tied your knot. And for mine, I've already joined my skein of yarn. So then I'm just going to go into the next stitch over. Make sure you grab both stitches, the front and the back half, and just make 1 single crochet all the way around to your yarn marker. So 1 single crochet halfway, I should say, a little more than halfway to your yarn marker. Just make 1 single crochet joining the 2 halves and then come back. So I made my single crochet around half and I've reached my yarn marker. I went ahead and removed it. So you see how I have an opening on half of it. Then what you're going to do is you're going to continue making a shell on the top portion only. So leave the bottom portion alone. You're going to take just the top portion, go into the next stitch, make a single crochet, and then we're going to make our first shell. So now you're going to make a half double crochet into the same stitch. So yarn over, go into the same stitch, and remember I'm only grabbing the front portion of the snow patch. I'm going to bring up a loop, yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through all 3 for a half double crochet. Then I'm going to make a double crochet into the same stitch, yarn over, go into the same stitch, bring up a loop, make your double crochet. Then you're going to make a half double crochet into the same stitch, yarn over, go into the same stitch, bring up a loop, make your half double crochet. Then you're going to go into the next stitch over, bring up a loop, and make a single crochet. Then you're going to make a single crochet into the next stitch, and a single crochet into the next stitch, and then 1 more single crochet into the next stitch to make your shell. So a half double crochet. Next will be a double crochet, then a half double crochet, then you're going to make a single crochet into the next stitch over, then a single crochet into the next stitch over, the next stitch over, and then in the 4th stitch you'll make your single crochet and then make your shell. So half double crochet, double crochet, half double crochet, and then you repeat. So single crochet into the next stitch, single crochet into the 2nd, single crochet into the 3rd, and then single crochet into the 4th, and then start your shell. So just keep repeating this all the way. And then you'll see this beautiful design forming on the top snow patch. When you reach the joined edge, come back and I'll show you what to do at that point. So this is what my work looks so far. You can see that I have the shells only on the top portion, not on the bottom portion so far. But when you reach the joined portion, the front and the back are joined, this is where you're going to start making shells in the single crochet that you created, sewing the pieces together. So you're just going to continue around, repeating the same pattern that you were doing on just the front portion. all the way until you're back to where you started, and then come back. So this is what mine looks like after making my shells all the way around. Then I'm back to the beginning. I just finished 3 single crochet. Now I'm just going to slip stitch into the 4th stitch. Just yarn over and pull the yarn through both loops on the hook. Then finish off, just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to bury into your work. So now you can go ahead and bury all of your loose yarn ends. So I finished the snow patch, and this is how much yarn. I was worried I was going to have enough, but I did. This was with the Craft Smart Value yarn, how much I have left over. And remember that for my project, I also used the homespun yarn for one of them. So this is what I have left of one skein of these yarns. This is what I have left over of the cherry red yarn after just one skein of the jumbo size. So here you can see the snow patch, and then the opening that I have, and then the bottom. So now for this method, I took my copper wire, then I just set the wire rack, the pot holder rack, and then I just took and placed it on the inside. And this is how this one looks. I just wanted to show you Mrs. Santa's hat. I put pom-poms all the way around. For hers, I didn't sew it in place because I wanted to be able to take it off so you could see her beautiful bun underneath. And then it's just tied at the chin with the little chin strap.